Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here on YouTube, and welcome to the last video of 2017. And what better way to end out 2017 with a bang? And what better way to end it with a bang is the last list video of the year, the last end of the year. And that's the big one, the top 20 best metal albums of this year. And there were a lot of great metal albums that were released this year, though a lot. And I could have been, and the thing is, I didn't get to a lot of them, so I only reviewed about 22 metal albums this year. So if I had released a bit more, I could have done maybe a 25, but I just didn't, or a 30. But that is, I'll get to some of the reasons, because it's time to get to some honorable mentions. So for the honorable mentions is, of course, is Battle Raiders album from this year, which was a good album, but not as good to make the list. And again, if I had reviewed about 28 albums, I could have done a top 25, and it probably would have made the cut. But who knows? It was a good album, but not to take away anything from it. Other one would have been Trance's album from this year, The Loser Strikes Back, which is a great album, but not one of the best from Trance. But again, nothing to take away from it. It was just a pretty good comeback album. And there was quite a bit of comeback albums. We'll get to some comeback albums maybe in this list. And another one would probably be my album from this year, first album. And of course, but then again, a lot of my past reviews or list videos, I added my stuff in there. So this one, but that was just my ego. Anyways, finally it's time to get into the list. Let me get into my phone. Go so I can want to rate your music and pull up the list I made there. So, coming in at number 20 is Gauntlet's debut full-length album. Just a really good album from them. They were from Greece. I reviewed the album already. Just a really good album though from Gauntlet. Again, probably not as good to make it into further, but because there were so many other good albums that I actually listened to, it got bumped down. But again, nothing to take away from the album. Gauntlet did come with a good debut. So, moving on, coming at number 19 is Jack Starr's Burning Star, which is a really good Stand Your Ground, just a really good album from Jack Starr. Features, of course, vocalist Todd Michael Hall, who, of course, is singing with Riot V these days, or was originally known as Riot. But he's been singing with Jack Starr since Jack Starr started releasing albums again under the Burning Star moniker. Just really good album, though. Nothing bad on the album. It was just a really good album. Finally, coming at number 18 is, reunion for this band, though this would definitely technically be the first album under this name, but it would be the fourth album for this lineup. That would be Venom Inc., which of course with their album Ave, this of course was the reunion of the Tony Dolan era of Venom, and it's definitely a really good album though. The same era, released something that's Primeval and Temples of Ice. Just nothing bad on this album, but it's very much close to that sound. It's a good album, though. I'm kind of saying whatever, but that's because it's stuck in my head at this point of what. But again, delete all that. Venom Inc., Ave, it's a great album, but probably not the best of the Tony Dolan era stuff. Still, I think Temples of Ice might be the best of that era. But Venom Inc. is, with Ave is no slouch. It's definitely a good album though from Venom Inc. So, still, different sound though, again from the Chronos era, even though there was a bit of that sound, but the thing is, it's just that the Tony Dolan era had a bit of a different sound to it, I thought. Anyways, just a great album. So, that was at number 18. Finally, coming at number 17 is an album I didn't review, however, because I don't review a whole lot of live albums on this. If I do, it's only in list videos I bring up. So, with that, and this is the only live album that I ever listened to this year. So, what are we talking about? Well, That's, of course, is the Book of Souls live chapter from Iron Maiden. And the Book of Souls album did make my list of bests of, like 2015, but I think it was lower. Here, I think it's a little bit higher, actually. And it's a good album. I think what they did usually with any band that does live albums, they always do something that they can never capture in the studio. That's, of course, that raw energy. With the Book of Souls stuff, they actually took what was, I thought, what were kind of, I think, were underbaked stuff, and actually baked it to the point where I think it's really close to being perfectly done. And everything on here is great. All the songs are done just more, there's just like extra, oomph under them. Like, If Eternity Should Fail, Speed of Light, Death or Glory, The Great Unknown, and the title track are all done better on this live album. And they were in the studio. It's a really good live album. Of course, you get some classics on here like The Power Slave, Children of the Damned, of course, the song Iron Maiden, of course, Blood Brothers and Wasted Years. So, and there really isn't that many classic songs on this live album. Normally, Iron Maiden, when it comes to live albums, are usually best of. That's not the case here. This really feels like a really good companion, like how Live After Death was to like the Bruce Dickinson, and in some ways even like the Paul Di'Anno stuff. Or, like, even in some ways, I kind of feel like the Real Live Dead one was really, at times, a pretty good companion to the album from, like, 86 to, like, 1992. So this is a very good, at times, a pretty good companion to, like, the Book of Souls. And at times, a little bit of the 2000s. But there really is only one, and that's, of course, the Blood Brothers. Just off the... what was that album called again? Brave New World. Still, killer live album from Iron Maiden. Really one of the best albums that they've done in a long time, actually. Or in a while. I think this is definitely better than the actual studio album. Still, good. Finally, coming in at number 16 is the debut album from female-fronted new wave or traditional heavy metal band Satan's Hollow. Great debut album from them. Just a killer album. Really, just a really good album with a killer female vocalist and stuff. Satan's Hollow debut album, making that number 16. Coming at number 15 was a recommendation from like John Blade, which, if you're wondering for why this video kind of feels a little weird, for me, it's because I had to stop this video because I couldn't remember John Blade's name, because I tried going to YouTube and it took a long time because of, normally, the thing is, his comment was always pretty, visible on that video, that I did, like, announcement video that I did, but it wasn't. So YouTube kind of fucked me and him over. So thank you, YouTube, for kind of making me to redo this damn video. Dumbasses. Anyways, Snake Eyes, really good Spanish heavy metal band. Very much got more of a US power metal sound to them. Very much like Vicious Rumors or Sanctuary. Really good album. This was, of course, was their second album, and just really good quality metal. And all that has to be said. Quality metal out from Snake Eyes. Nothing else said. I did a review, of course. Coming in finally at number 14 is Strikers album. Their self-titled album from this year, which of course was a follow-up to Stand in the Fire. And the album I think is just as good as that album, though it's I think Striker, each album, they get much heavier. They almost go from like almost a power thrash kind of feel. And the writing is just great. It's a lot more improved than their earlier stuff, which they were kind of focused on like that beer drinking and stuff like that. But starting with like Stand in the Fire, they really started improving their writing. And then here, it's a lot more personal kind of lyrics. So really good plus for them. Just a really solid album from Striker, Canadian metal band. Coming in number 13 is Air Raid's Across the Line, and this is a solid album from Air Raid. This was the new first sound for the new singer. Can't remember his name, and I'm not gonna name it because I already named it in that review anyways. Solid album. This is more of a power metal album, I think, from Air Raid. It almost has kind of a that shrapnel kind of feel to it. Just really solid album. Nothing bad on it. Just a really killer album from start to finish. Killer riffs, catchy writing at times, catchy riffs. Nothing bad on the album. That all that has to be said. And that was at number 13. So coming in at number 12 is sound that's playing in the background. I reviewed this band. Fairly new, really new band. Released around this year. This, of course, is Bad Butler with the Not Bad at All. And this is a really good album. For a debut, this is solid quality German metal. Very much got more like Steeler from Germany, or Accept, Saxon, Udo, all that kind of German metal. It's a really good album. So, really solid debut. Reviewed it anyways. Great album from Bad Butler. Hopefully they release some more stuff, because this is solid metal. Alright, so coming in number 11 is the first thrash album on this. This, of course, is the follow-up to this band's debut album in 2011, Forbidden World. This is Antichrist, The Sinful Birth. And what a quality thrash metal album. Everything's raw, almost has a Slayer tinge to it, though. Almost kind of mixed with Slayer, Sodom, and Destruction. Just real solid stuff from Sweden. Just killer thrash album with some of the best songs being Chernobyl 1986. Fucking killer album from them. Did a review. Just great stuff. Finally, we're into the top 10 list. So, we made it to the top 10. So coming in number 10 is surrounding an album that really grew and just clicked with me first time. This, of course, is Heavy Bombers from Valaya. This, of course, was their second album. Just solid metal here. These guys are from Chile, and when it comes to Chilean metal, there are some great metal bands, but I think Valaya are some of the best of them. This is just killer writing on here with killer vocals, killer riffs, killer production that's a way more improvement to the We Are Rock album, or aka War album from 2014. Just everything saw on here. Got more of an anvil tinge to it at times. Just solid metal album from Chilean metal band Valaya. Alright, so coming in number 9 is an album that could have been number 1, or could have been in my top 5, but again, there was a lot of good stuff that came out, and I really praised the hell out of this album. This, of course, is Duel's second album, Witch Banger. Guy is based out of Texas. This is solid, traditional doom, semi stoner, but it's a very good metal album with its 70s rock feel to it. Just great, heavy album from them. Every song, like the title track, or the song that kicks off the album, which is The Devil, The Snake Queen, and Cat's Eye, and of course Tigers and Rainbows are just some of the most killer songs off the album. It's just a really solid, heavy doom stoner, just almost more of a classic heavy metal sound to it. Just great stuff from Duel. Finally, number 8 is a comeback album from U.S. and at times almost death thrash. Some of the later stuff is Hex, Wrath of the Reaper, and this was a comeback to that sort of U.S. power metal sound that was on albums such as Under the Spell, and this is just a really good album from Hex. Could have easily been in my top 5, but again, there's other really good stuff that came out. Just a really solid album from Hex. Definitely one of the best, probably the best sound since the Under the Spell album. Really killer album from Hex. Going number 7 is The Grinding Wheel from Overkill. Some more thrash on here. And this is probably to me, I've always seen some people say that this is not nearly their best sound, but I think this sound is just as good as the, what was that Electric, the Electric Age. I think this album is just as good as the Electric Age, and I can see why even Scott Waters says it's probably the most memorable Overkill album, because it really keeps your attention throughout, and for me, my attention was always kept throughout the whole album. No bad song on the album. Even the cover of Emerald is a fucking great way to, even though it's a bonus track, it's a damn good way to end the album. It's basically the cherry on top that does it for me. So, Overkill with the Grinding Wheel. Coming at number 6 is the newest album from Japanese metal band Anthem with Engraved, and it was a really good album from Anthem. Just solid. And of course, Anthem, they've never really released at least a bad album, but I only listen to their stuff from like the 1980s. But this album I think is just as good as their 1980s stuff. Just a really killer album from Anthem. Another Japanese metal band coming in. Whoa, we finally made it to number 5. The top 5. My top 5 pick, and this is going to be real easy here. Great. So coming at number 5 is, like I said, another Japanese metal band, a band that I really just started getting into. That's, of course, is Concerta Moon with Tears of Messiah, and this is a solid album. Has a Deep Purple, Uriah Heep rainbow, and at times even a bit of an early Whitesnake feel, just because of that Deep Purple sound to it. Just solid album from Concerta Moon with the shredding, but it's got some killer keyboard stuff with, I think it'd play with like Terra Rosa, another Japanese metal band, and just solid album, and I think was actually slightly better than Anthem's, but of course Anthem made my top 10 anyway, but top 5, Concerta Moon's Tears of Messiah. So, coming at number 4, this is where I can put away the list, because all this stuff is I do own. So coming in at number 4 is the newest album from Accept, with the Rise of Chaos, the 4th album for the Mark Tonillo era, and this album I've played a lot. If there's many reasons for why this made my top 5, is because of how many times I listened to this damn album. To me, I think this is probably I know I'm going to be hyping it because there's a lot of people that are not as much liking this album, but I think this is probably the Resistant Wild of the Mark Tonillo era, because it's like each song is like, just like with Overkill, but I think my thing is, except always with the Mark Tonillo stuff, there's never really been a bad album, but the thing is, they normally didn't keep much of my attention. This album actually kept my attention throughout. I think it's probably the most solid Accept album since even some of the 1980s stuff. This is just, to me, just that damn good of an album, and why I would say it's probably the Mark Tonillo, because each album is just right in your face type of attitude. Just really great riffs on here. Some of the best writing on here. There really is no bad song on this album. Everything is solid. Even Kool-Aid with its goofiness, even Analog Man. But it's catchy. It's hooky. That's what I like. Like Resistant Wild, there was always some hooky songs on there. That, to me, is why I rate this much higher. And Blind Rage, when I put that on my list for Rate Your Music for top, best albums of 2014, that album didn't nearly was on top of my list. At least it didn't make my top 5. This album did. This is a killer album from Accept, and it's a really damn good album. Coming in at number 3 is another comeback album, and this is the last comeback album in this list. Is of course another thrash album, and I think one of the best thrash metal albums of this year. Normally Antichrist would have been, and normally maybe Overkill. Well, of course Overkill did make my top 10, but there's one. It's the Future State of Wicked from Blood Feast, and it was a really good comeback album, really good reunion. Just Everything is solid, just as good as any of the Blood Feast albums. That's all I have to say. I review this as a part of Thrash Metal Month. Nothing bad, just solid thrash metal for Blood Feast. Everything is great on this album, nothing bad. That's all that has to be said. Whoa, I'm getting winded. But we're only at the last two. So what didn't make my number 2? And this was so tough. This was so fucking tough for me. But there only can be at least one. So what made number 2? And this kind of hit me. Their album made number 1 on my top 20 of best, 2015. And of course, it's the newest album from Ram with Rod or Ramrod. But Subversion made my number 1 album from 2015. This one, man, it didn't. But it was so tough because this just easily could have been number 1. This was just a really killer album, I think, from Ram. There is nothing bad, I think, on this album. It's definitely more progressive. It definitely, and that's the one thing you expect from Ram. They always tend to experiment. They are not always a one-trick pony. Here, they definitely try a lot of new things. Definitely with Ramrod the Destroyer. Definitely they're like Welcome to Hell. They're 2112. They're I kind of named it in my review anyways, but it was they're the Fountain of Lament off this album by Rush, Caress of Steel. Really good song though. It's all story based, but it's easily, I think, when it comes to those kind of songs, definitely one of the best of that. And Ram really risked by doing something like that. And in a way, because of that risk, I really applaud them. They did do something quite different. When it comes to a lot of new wave or traditional metal bands, not a lot of them try to do a lot of risky stuff. But Ram, since they were the earliest one and did come before them, these guys know how to write and deliver. Great album from Ram. So with that, what didn't make number 1? And between this I almost thought I'd make this number 2 because of how much I love Ram, but man, this album kept my attention throughout. That's, of course, is the Guillotine from German metal band Vulture, another German metal band that made my list besides Accept and Bad Butler. Wow. When it comes to thrash even as well, this is also, I would say, it was a thrash metal album because of just how vicious and even at times melodic. It's like stuff is hooky. For one of the newer ones, this is hooky at times. Vendetta, Clashing Iron, Triumph of the Guillotine, Electric Ecstasy, even their song like Adrian's Cradle, The Night Belongs to the Dead, Paraphiliac, and Cry for Death. There is no slouch on this album. This is just straight up, right to the jugular kind of metal. And everything is done here that's just, there is no bad song. Killer artwork. This is, of course, number 1 for me. Not because of older and newer band. No, because of the writing on here is just top notch at times. Yeah, they do, but it's just the riffing and everything. The music it's got a catchy feel. It just sticks to your head. Just that great of an album, and enough said. So with that, there's my top 20 best metal albums of this year. A lot of different stuff here. Then it's gonna be on every other person's list. But that's always cool about lists. Everyone's got different opinions. I got my own opinion. I got my taste. And so this was the last video. I'm winded. I'm definitely gonna turn it off. Hope everyone has a great new year. And I will be back with another video. Actually, might not be delayed because I'm still gonna do an album of the week on Sunday, which is of course New Year's Day. But after that, it's on to more reviews, January, and other stuff. All to do stuff. So, hope everyone has a great new year. Until then, this is Happy Fracture Sam out. Everyone take care.